Hello Manchester fans, welcome to Manchester United Daily Updates. Before continuing this video, click the like button and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with the latest news from Manchester United. Marcus Rashford set for Ruben Amorim, change, as Man United January transfer plan emerges. Ruben Amorim is getting down to business at Manchester United and there are, reportedly, some significant calls to be made regarding Marcus Rashford and Casemiro. Manchester United's new head coach Ruben Amorim visited Old Trafford for the very first time since joining the club on Thursday as his tenure heads towards its first weekend. The 39-year-old surprised some unsuspecting visitors on the club tour in the changing rooms while he became acquainted with his new home. Amorim will take charge of United for the first time a week on Sunday when the club travel to newly promoted Ipswich Town. Amorim's full squad is set to return to Carrington early next week when their respective international adventures come to an end. Despite being less than a week into his new job, it appears the Portuguese head coach is already making some big calls as he gets down to business. Rashford handed a fresh challenge. According to Give Me Sport, Amorim is prepared to offer Marcus Rashford a chance to play as number 9 for the team in his 3-4-3 system. The England international has been playing on the right wing recently to accommodate the likes of Alejandro Garnacho. While he has played predominantly on the left wing for United, he has been known to play as a centre-forward as and when they have been struggling for options up top. It is a big gamble for Amorim to utilise Rashford as a centre-forward in his team if that is what he decides to do. The United Academy graduate never quite looks comfortable in the number 9 position and has had some of his best performances for the club on the wing. Such a move would also be a damning indictment of the current recognised centre-forwards in this squad. Neither Rasmus Hojlund nor Joshua Zirkzee have set the world alight this season, but to overlook them in favour of Rashford would, perhaps, suggest that Amorim would like to bring in another striker at some stage. Victor Gyokeres perhaps. Amorim makes Casemiro call. According to BBC Sport, via Sport, Amorim has already informed Casemiro that he will be looking to sell him in the January transfer window. New Manchester United manager Ruben Amorim is considering playing Marcus Rashford through the middle, as per reports. Erik ten Hag's first season at United was very promising, as the Red Devils finished the season in third place and ended their trophy drought by lifting the League Cup. The biggest reason behind United's impressive campaign was Marcus Rashford's scintillating form. The Englishman was at his prolific best, managing 30 goals and 11 assists across all competitions. However, his form declined rapidly the next season and so did United's, as they recorded their worst league finish in Premier League history. Despite a promising pre-season, the 27-year-old has had a slow start to the 2024-25 campaign as well, and Ten Hag has lost his job. Regardless of many concerns about his ability and mentality, the Englishman remains United's best attacker and his form has the potential to heavily influence the reign of yet another manager at Old Trafford. It seems Amorim recognises that, and according to GIVEMESPORT, he arrives at Carrington with a plan for the United superstar. It is claimed that the Portuguese is set to hand Rashford a chance to impress as the number 9 in his 3-4-3 system, in an attempt to fit him into his lineup. Amorim's system, which paid great dividends in Lisbon, relies on a narrow attack, featuring a number 9 and 2 number 10s behind him. The dynamic left winger, known for his pace and ball-striking ability, is certainly not a playmaker, leading to question marks over his role in the new gaffer's plans. The report adds that insiders who are familiar with Amorim's way of thinking have suggested to GIVEMESPORT that it would not be a surprise to see him try Rashford as a centre-forward. Victor Gyokeres' ability to attack the channels and space behind defenders in transition worked wonders at Sporting CP, and it is expected that Amorim will look to implement similar ideas in England. In that regard, Rashford's skill sets could come in handy and help the player rediscover his best form. Rasmus Hojlund is also a threat in transition, but the 21-year-old has struggled to consistently get on the score sheet. Joshua Zirkzee, meanwhile, likes to drop deep like a number 10. Garnacho has the pace and dribbling skills to trouble any backline in Europe, but he is too wasteful in front of the goal. As such, at least until the summer transfer window, Rashford, who has 4 goals to his name in all competitions this term. Ruben Amorim already has a template to follow to unleash £72 million Manchester United signing. Rasmus Hojlund will be hoping he can become one of the biggest beneficiaries of Ruben Amorim's appointment at Man United. Both Rasmus Hojlund and Victor Gyokeres were the subjects of big money deals during the 2023 summer transfer window. Hojlund joined Manchester United from Atalanta in a deal that could eventually be worth £72 million, and Gyokeres swapped Coventry City for Sporting Lisbon in a move that was worth north of £20 million. But based on how the 2023-24 season unfolded for each of them, you would have been forgiven had you got the price tags the wrong way round. Such was the way Gyokeres' first season in Portugal developed. Fresh from scoring 21 goals in the Championship the season prior, Gyokeres, 26, enjoyed an outstanding first season at Sporting, scoring 43 goals in all competitions. He also chipped in with 15 assists, ending the campaign with 58 direct goal contributions in just 50 matches. Gyokeres, who had proven during his time at Coventry that he was a striker capable of playing at a much higher level, specifically wanted to join Sporting in July 2023 because of new United head coach Ruben Amorim. The 39-year-old had earned a reputation for developing players, and Gyokeres was of the opinion that he would benefit from working with the Portuguese chief. Scoring 66 goals in 68 matches under Amorim, his theory was proven to be correct. Since joining Sporting ahead of the start of the 2023-24 season, the Swede has scored exactly a third of the 135 league goals they have plundered since the start of last season, highlighting his importance to Amorim's system. He was prolific under the now United boss, and it will be interesting to see if he maintains such high standards in the post-Amorim era. Gyokeres' exploits under the former Braga chief should encourage United and Hojlund. The Dane joined the club in August last year, aged 20, with the task of becoming Erik ten Hag's striker-in-chief. Being first-choice striker at United carries huge levels of pressure and expectation for any player, meaning the task must have felt somewhat daunting for Hojlund, who had scored just 10 goals in 34 games in Italy. Despite arriving in England injured, and then experiencing one or two other issues as the season unfolded, he finished his maiden campaign at Old Trafford with a respectable tally of 16 goals to his name. It represented a platform for him to build on this. However, he missed the start of this term with a hamstring injury, meaning it was not until September 21 that he made his first appearance of the campaign. He has since scored 2 goals in 12 appearances. Described as a striker with huge potential by Ten Hag after arriving at Old Trafford, Amorim needs to find a way of unlocking that potential on a more regular basis. Hojlund has demonstrated, both through his general play and his goals, that he does have the capacity to become a big-name player for United, but for him to make that next step he needs to become more consistent in front of goal. Having turned Gyokeres into one of the most sought-after strikers in Europe, Amorim is going to be under pressure to do the same with Hojlund. The obvious caveat, however, is that the Premier League, with respect, is a tougher and more competitive league than Liga Portugal, and the pressures that come with playing for United are much greater than at Sporting. Nevertheless, Hojlund should be confident that he can take the next step towards becoming a seasoned goal-getter under Amorim. The 21-year-old notched 16 goals last season, and his aim should be to try and beat the tally this season, although his pre-season injury has set him back in that quest. With Amorim expected to deploy a 3-4-3 system at Old Trafford, there will be an onus on Hojlund to do much of the heavy lifting at the top end of the pitch, highlighted by the fact Gyokeres has scored 33% of Sporting's league goals since the start of 2023-24. Hojlund will no doubt be frustrated with his paltry tally of 2 goals so far this season, meaning he should use Amorim's appointment as motivation to find an extra gear. Amorim needs to oversee an increase in United's overall attacking output, with scoring goals having not come naturally so far this season. If that demand results in Hojlund increasing his personal output, everyone will be smiling. Manchester United ready to swap summer signing for Victor Gyokeres. It's safe to say that Man United's move for Joshua Zirkzee has so far spectacularly blown up in their collective face. Getting the Dutchman in made little sense even when Erik ten Hag was in charge, and the mind boggles as to what role he could perform now that Ruben Amorim is at the club. The onus is on United now to demonstrate how quickly they can move Zirkzee on. Man United considering Joshua Zirkzee's swap deal for Victor Gyokeres. As reported by the Manchester Evening News on the back of Fabrizio Romano's latest daily briefing newsletter, Manchester United are considering offering Sporting the Dutch forward Joshua Zirkzee as part of a cash-plus player agreement in an attempt to poach Victor Gyokeres. Despite beating many a big side for the Netherlands international's signature, United have not seen many decent performances from Zirkzee in the opening months of the season, with recent reports suggesting that Erik ten Hag was not happy with his compatriot's arrival in the first place. With Ruben Amorim taking charge of their first team, the Red Devils are keen on helping him reunite with the striker he has helped develop into one of the very best in Europe at the moment, and to that end they are already willing to part ways with Zirkzee in an attempt to avoid paying the entirety of Gyokeres' €100 million release clause. Zirkzee, who earlier this year talked about not being an out-and-out striker, has just 1 goal and 2 assists to his name from 17 appearances this season. The Sweden international, on the other hand, has 23 goals and 4 assists from 18 games. It could work. From what we have seen with Amorim at Sporting, it is clear he would prefer someone of Gyokeres' profile up front instead of a player like Zirkzee, so it is clear that United are going to have to cut their losses on an investment that did not really make sense in the first place regardless of the player's undeniable quality and potential. That said, United may not need to push for Gyokeres come January. They already have an out-and-out Scandinavian forward in Rasmus Hojlund who could slot in right away and take the spot for himself. The Dane has until January to prove to Amorim and the United board that they need not make a heavy investment in Gyokeres, whose arrival will unquestionably undermine the 21-year-old at Old Trafford. Last month, the People's Person discussed the claim that Gyokeres could become Ruben Amorim's first signing at Man United, especially given that the striker worked under the Portuguese manager up until his move to Old Trafford on Monday. Still, convincing the Swede to leave Sporting may prove challenging for United. "I'm here, and I really like being here. It's not something I think about. I'm enjoying it here," Gyokeres responded when asked about his United links. Thanks for watching, see you next time.